Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast, the coast with the most from the co-host with the most here on the Rundown, 2A views, conservative news. Craig, how's your Monday going?
My Monday is going phenomenal. I'll tell you, we've been dealing with a bit of a cold spell here in Sacramento, but luckily it has also been accompanied by some rain. So I doubt the drought is over, but we've been getting some much needed rain, some cool weather, and having a good time though, spending time with friends and family.
Yeah, listen, it's a perfect day here. Blue skies, no wind, and we are roughing it in a cold front. Also, we are down to 70 degrees. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh my God, the inhumanity of it all.
I know.
Down to 70 degrees, folks. Look, those of you watching from California, just so you know, Mike, that there's a lot of haterade coming your way right now.
Oh, listen, we got people out there wearing hoodies and shorts today. It's that kind of day.
Hoodies and shorts.
Yeah.
Good stuff. How was your weekend?
Not too bad. Did let's see, what did I do? Oh, I had the boss's Christmas party on Saturday night. Did that, and that was pretty good. Went flying Saturday and went flying Sunday, so it was a pretty good day.
Excellent. Well, that is always good to hear, sir. That is always good to hear.
Yep.
All right. Well, you know what? There have been a lot of interesting things going on for the weekend, but before we get into the news, let's go ahead and give that shout out to our sponsors.
We shall. Let's say hello to our good friends over at the Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. You got yourself an AR in the past 5 years, probably got one of their barrels, don't even know it, right? Now you can get your own barrel from them direct for your next build or to rebarrel your current rifle. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can be involved with California's future today with the California Republican Assembly. You want some awesome field gear, tactical gear, web gear, hiking gear, hunting gear, all the gear you want. Go to uscombatgear.com. And of course, if you need yourself a holster, and even if you don't, you should be getting one. It's that time of year. You should just be buying holsters for everybody. Nice concealable Kydex inside the waistband holsters from Hog Holsters, HAWG holsters.com. That's hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all one word, no spaces, all caps.
Folks, check it out. These are the folks who bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do us a favor, follow the link to their websites in the description to this program. If you like what you see, spend some money with them and make sure that you tell them there was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. Also want to remind you once again, as I always do, if you haven't already done so, please like, share, and subscribe. Share and subscribe. Let your friends know we're fighting the algorithms. Look, the FBI and the White House are colluding with the social media companies and the internet companies to make sure that conservatives like us don't have our equal say, that you don't know that we're out there, that we're suppressed. So the one way in which to make sure that we're not suppressed is by you guys sharing the word about the Rundown, about who we are, and about the program. So make sure you're sharing, letting folks know you can watch us wherever you get your video podcasts, or you can listen wherever you get your audio podcast. But however you choose to partake, please make sure to partake and encourage your friends to do the same.
Yeah, do that. Do all that stuff Craig just said.
Exactly. Okay. So moving on to our first topic, we've been eagerly awaiting for some sort of word to come from the administration, or at least from the January 6th committee regarding Trump and the January 6th panel and criminal referrals. And it appears that they have finally recommended, or at least are urging, Trump prosecution with criminal referrals. Now, if you take some time to read the article, what you come to find is they pretty much have stated, they've outlined every reason why, everything they think that Donald Trump did that would and should lead to a criminal referral in the hearings that they did. Now, if you took the time to watch any of the January 6th committee hearings, you know that it was a carefully laid out, plotted out production, a production of largely fiction, mind you, based on a true story. But it's a fiction based on a true story. But it was put together by people who had one goal, and that was to try and put Donald Trump in jail, whether he was guilty or not, by people who hated Donald Trump. And what you also found out was their witness, their greatest witness with the smoking gun, was a witness who heard somebody who overheard somebody talking to someone else about something that may or may not have happened. And not actually talking to anybody who was there at the time. In essence, Mike, what they're saying is, yeah, there should be a criminal prosecution, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I didn't hear what statutes exactly they believe, other than aiding in an insurrection. I don't know what other criminal prosecution or criminal crimes they believe that he actually committed.
Yeah, Craig, listen, it's all basically the same thing. They just found 4 different angles to look at it. One was, like you said, aiding in an insurrection. The other was obstruction of justice. And the other 2 they're so minute they're buried down in a story somewhere. I don't recall what they were, but they're the same focus. This was brought to you by this year's theater of Kabuki Theater here was brought to you by 9 individuals. Let me give you the 7 Democrats' names here so you can make sure you send them letters of appreciation for wasting their time and money. Their time, our money, right? Bernie Thompson of Mississippi, Zoe Lofgren of California, Adam Schiff of California. Poor Adam. That guy just believes anything anybody tells him.
Schiff for brains?
Pete Aguilar. Yeah, exactly. Pete Aguilar, California. Stephanie Murphy from Florida. Jamie Ruskin of Maryland. And Elaine Loria from Virginia, and the 2 traitors to their names and parties, Liz Cheney. By the way, she's going away here shortly. And by going away, I mean she's been voted out. And Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, both of them Republicans in name alone.
Well, and by the way, they weren't just recommending indictments for him, but also for some of his associates, including John Eastman, who is a very well-respected legal authority and attorney, former dean of a law school. They're saying that because he recommended, they called them dubious legal strategies to keep Donald Trump in office. Now, mind you, they didn't call them illegal. They didn't say that he recommended that Donald Trump break any laws. They just referred to his recommendations as quote unquote dubious. I literally, I got into an argument with somebody, and actually in the gun rights community over the weekend, over the most recent tweet that it was a I don't know what they call it, a truth. I guess that's what they call it on Truth Social. Where Donald Trump basically was like very frustrated. He was saying, we now know the stolen election, and he was calling FBI thugs and this, that, and the other. And this person, once again, the gun rights community, accused the president of inciting violence. And I've just come to realize that, why is it when Democrats say the exact same things about a Republican, it's not inciting violence? They're just, expressing their political discontent, they may be a bit hyperbolic, but they're not inciting violence. But when Donald Trump or any Republican says the exact same thing, they're in fact inciting violence. And I've come to realize it is literally just their perspective. It's like when, once again, Republicans are evil, and so therefore anytime they say stand up for yourself, they're actually saying go kill a liberal. And that just seems to be how they interpret things.
Yeah, exactly. And I listen, just looking at all the charges here, it's aiding an insurrection. We got that one. Obstructing an official proceeding, and then a conspiracy to make a false statement. So that's there's another one buried in there somewhere. I don't see it, but yeah, Craig, listen, trying to charge former President Trump with things that they do every day, things that are broadcast every day. But that's all right. How many times do we have to point out to you all of the examples of people calling for no peace again ever for the Supreme Court, no peace for conservatives, for Republicans, bring harm to them. What's old Mayor Lightfoot? What did she say? She said that the harm should come to them. It's time to take up arms or something like along those lines.
Yes.
So, it's
well, I find it interesting. Like, and keep in mind, this is Adam Schiff, the same person who insisted for 4 years that they had evidence that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. Flat out said it. I've seen evidence that he has colluded with the Russians, irrefutable evidence, as he referred to it. Yet still, we all know that was all a hoax. I mean, the very fact that these folks are given the opportunity to just get up and lie, and that's exactly what they're doing. And the interesting thing is that I would not be surprised to see the Justice Department actually seek criminal charges, because once again, this is a Justice Department that has already demonstrated, and we've seen in the last several weeks, just with the interactions with Twitter, we know that they are not above weaponizing the criminal justice system in order to stop a political opponent of the president.
Yeah, true. Listen, the good news is that come January 3rd, that they could have the new Congress can take this report and throw it in the trash and recommend the same. The amount of lies that are in this report are astounding, Craig. Almost as many lies as in the AP article written by. I was going to read you their names, but they're just three clowns, so it really doesn't matter. The way this article reads is just like, it looks like the transcript of Kabuki theater is what it looks like.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what it is. But that's what the left wants. The left's not interested in justice; they're interested in getting what they want, and that is not going to stop them. The fact that they have no case is not going to stop them from seeking prosecution. In particular, if they believe it will hurt Donald Trump and his ability to run for president again.
He's depending on where you look or who you listen to, he's slipped in the polls over the last 2 weeks or so. In the favorability polls, and Craig, you and I have said it on here many times before. How do you energize this guy? How do you put him back on top? Oh, you do stuff like this, because It's like shooting spinach at Popeye, or it's just like, this is just going to make his supporters even more fervent and bring him back to the top of the heap again. Not that he's not on top of the heap; he's just not as far on top of the heap as he was 2 weeks ago.
Right. Now, in other news, in the state of California, we had a law that was recently passed, which among other things, that it helped to institute further gun control, actually made it so that if an individual or an organization were to sue a city, a county, or the state over a particular or a school district over a particular piece of gun legislation, that if that organization lost, now mind you, we're in the Ninth Circuit Court of Schlemiels, right? Ninth Circus Court of Schlemiels, whatever you want to call it. If you lose, then you would have to pay the state, the county, the city's legal costs in that particular lawsuit. Well, this is unprecedented. In fact, Mike, it was so unprecedented that here's the interesting thing. So the governor of the state of California, Gavin Newsom, had to take over the legal defense of this law, because the Attorney General, Rob Bonta, was already on letters. I mean, he had already taken a public position and was publicly fighting the requirement, what calls loser pays when it comes to legal fees in every other area. So in other words, what they wanted to make it was that, so for example, if someone sued a restaurant, right, because they, for some reason, if it was a frivolous lawsuit, a lot of times those people settle those lawsuits because the legal fees are so expensive. Well, if the loser knows they have to pay, or if the winner at least knows that, look, no matter what, I'm going to win this case, and the loser's going to wind up having to pay my legal fees, they're more likely to fight it than they are to actually settle it. Well, that's exactly what the Attorney General was against, or Democrats, period, are against. The idea of loser pays in any other case, except when it comes to having people who are fighting for gun rights having to pay the courts, or having to pay the city or the county or the government. Well, a judge, our good friend, once again, Judge Benitez out of San Diego, has put a halt to this provision of the new California law, and basically said, nah, this thing is not going to work. And, organizations like the Second Amendment Foundation, like the Firearms Policy Coalition, have been standing strong and putting in place requests for injunctive relief from this law. And it appears that at least so far right now, it looks like they are going to be getting it. Thanks once again to Mr. Benitez.
Yeah, absolutely, Craig. Now, let's say, remember, there's other parts of this law that are still standing that I'm sure will still face opposition. But Judge Benitez there said that
Saint Benitez
that you cannot do this. In fact, his quote here, let me give it to you, is that he said that the fee provision would have a chilling effect on the public's right to challenge the government in court, because people would not want to take the risk of being liable for expensive legal fees. I can't think of anything more tyrannical. So to be clear, folks, so if you would challenge the government for one of these unconstitutional gun laws, and it is, as Craig said, the Ninth Circus out there. So if you were to lose, not only do you have to pay your own legal fees, but you have to pay the government's legal fees, Craig. And there's no cap here on those legal fees too. So if you spent $10,000 in legal fees to go file for an injunction, and the government, spends the same amount of time to fight it, they could come back and say, well, our legal fees were $1 million, and you'd have to pay them. So that's even more outrageous. But you pay your own legal fees, government pays their own legal fees. Craig, we do see this in other instances of court. It comes under the frivolous court standard. Okay, so if you clearly file a frivolous court lawsuit, then you'd be responsible for other fees. So,
but in California, though, that's not the case. So you literally have people who actually go around and sue people. So in particular, they target small businesses, they target minority or immigrant-owned businesses, people who just don't have the legal resources to fight a long, protracted lawsuit. Now tell them, look, I'm going to sue you for $500,000, or you can settle out of court for $50,000. And a lot of times, either they or the insurance company will just decide, well, I guess I'll just settle out of court. But if you know that the loser had to pay, and your legal counsel tells you, oh yeah, we're going to win this lawsuit. See, it does no good if I win the $500,000 suit if it costs me $100,000 in legal fees. I might as well just pay the $50,000 settlement.
Yeah, it's absolutely something that you need to consider before entering into this, these fights, these battles, these costly battles,
Right. And in these particular cases, when it comes to filing these cases against these here's the sad part is, as gun owners, our money is being used against us, right? Our money as taxpayers is being used against us as the government is fighting against our rights. In the meantime, we're paying for these organizations and their attorneys and our own attorneys in order to be able to fight for our rights. So we're paying on both ends.
Yeah, absolutely right. And this is why, folks, we go to you all the time. We ask you to give to these organizations, to give to the FPCs, to give to these organizations, these grassroots organizations out there that are going to be fighting for your rights, because it's not for free that they do this.
No, and the attorneys treat us right, but they still cost money. Period. It does, because in essence they got bills. They got you. We are in essence buying their time.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yep.
All right. And matter of fact, talking about a waste of taxpayer money. Now check this out. So we talked about how in Arizona, Governor Ducey actually took shipping containers and place them along the border as a barrier where in places where a border wall was not under construction or was torn down where there were holes in the border wall. Well, now the U.S. government, our government, is now suing the state of Arizona over these containers, right, on the Mexican border. And Mike, here's their thing. They're saying, well, that's on federal land, so you're trespassing with your containers. Now, mind you, on federal land, the federal government has the responsibility for enforcing immigration laws, right? They have a responsibility for securing the border, but they're not doing it. And so the people who have to live with the consequences of them not doing their job are simply saying, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to put these things up here so that people can't sneak in the friggin' country. And so now they want to sue them.
You know, this doesn't make any sense. Craig, the current governor, Ducey, there leaves office on the 1st or 2nd. It's coming up pretty soon, so less than 2 weeks away. And the new Democrat governor will be sworn in. And this will probably be one of those first things that she says is to, go move the shipping containers. I don't understand why the feds are taking up anybody's time with this to get these containers taken down now instead of just waiting 2 weeks when they're going to come down under the new administration there in Arizona. Craig, all I could think is maybe they got some kind of end of the year quota they're trying to meet in Arizona. They don't have enough illegal immigrants coming across, so they want to get them down so they can get that end of year totals in. I don't know.
Or maybe they're afraid that the political pressure on the incoming governor will cause her to not remove the containers, and maybe this lawsuit will give her the political cover that she needs in order to be able to remove them.
It's good theory. I almost laughed at that one while you were saying it. That she'd do the right thing and leave them up. Yeah. I'm sure that's exactly what's going to happen.
I'm sure she'll do the right thing. I'm winking for those of you who are just listening.
Yeah, this is why they're bothering. Why the feds are bothering with this? It's just one of those. I don't know. What are they going to do? Force Governor Ducey to go out there and take him down himself? It's not going to happen.
Things that make you go, All right, this last one. So we talked to you guys about a program. This had to be about a month ago. About a program that they were going to start to do in San Francisco, which would give single trans women, that's women who used to be men or transitioned from men to women, that would give them $1,000 a month in income just because. Now, and what I told you at the time was this was not the first of these programs that San Francisco had, because it was based on another program that they had where they gave money to single black women and indigenous women who were pregnant. Now, turns out that this program wasn't just a San Francisco funded program, but it's actually a California state funded program. And it's being expanded, right? They're expanding it. And this, by the way, is all in the name, Michael, of racial justice. Now, mind you, I'm wondering why trans women get this, since trans women cannot have children, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so they are now expanding it. It's $1,000 monthly payment to pregnant black women. They will get the payment for I think for a year, per month for black women pregnancies, and for the first 6 months of their child's lives. So during the pregnancy, and then for the first 6 months of their child's life, they will get $1,000 a month. Now, I'm trying to figure out, Mike, and maybe because you are actually a trainer in diversity and equity and racial whatever. How exactly does this program improve racial injustice or racial justice?
Oh, it doesn't. Listen, it's just a name alone that they're trying to use there. I like the official title to this too, Craig. It's called the Abundant Birth Project. Like I'm sorry. Here's your reward for going out there and just making babies. Normally it would be, you'd see people, you'd hear these stories of people that would have a lot of kids so they could collect a lot more of the assistance checks and welfare checks, that kind of thing. Well, this is like the bonus round. Like, oh, while you're pregnant, we're going to give you an extra $1,000. So it's like a prepay on your welfare checks, and then we're going to give you the first 6 months that you had the child. You're going to get it. You're going to get it as well. It's ridiculous. And now, Craig, you said that they're opening this up to more than just the black women. Is that what you said?
Well, there's another aspect of the program where literally they were adding it to it, and maybe it's just that's just being done by the city of San Francisco, but it will go directly to trans women now, and that one is for up to a year. That was for up to a year. This one is once they're pregnant and then up to 6 months. There's 525 people in San Francisco, Alameda, Contra Costa, Los Angeles, and Riverside counties. And it comes after a $6.5 million increase in funding from the California Department of Social Services. As long as you're in a household that earns less than $100,000 a year, depending on what county you're in, you'll get, between $600 to $1,000.
Gotcha. And I think you said trans women can't have babies. Well, I think technically they can have babies, Craig. They just can't make them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they can make them with either a woman or a trans man.
Well, okay. How about this? They don't get to incubate and grow one. How about that? So,
not in their own womb because they do not possess one.
Exactly right. And you said indigenous personnel as well. Excuse me. That's a military term. You said indigenous peoples as well. Does that mean anybody born in California qualifies for this? Or are they talking?
No. They're talking Native Americans. Indigenous peoples. They're referring to Native Americans.
I'm a Native American. I actually check that box a lot when I fill out forms that asks if it's Native American or not, and I say absolutely, born right here in America.
All right, Pocahontas.
Hey, listen. I am a Native American. I'm 100% Native American. I've got some heritage from elsewhere, but I'm a Native American.
Yeah,
I was born
right you here. Are. Yes, you are. All right, so let's move along to our parting shots. Hi, parting shot time. I don't know why it keeps going back up. There we go. Parting shots. Brought to you by Hog Hosters. It's hoghosters.com. Make sure when you go there, you use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, just one word. Phenomenal Hosters.
Helping America wear guns. HAWG Holsters.
Hog Hosters helping America wear guns. All right, so this first one, I'm sorry, I just had to find I found kind of interesting because oftentimes the idea of quote unquote misgendering someone is considered to be violence, an act or a form of violence, or speaking out or having anything less than a 100% reaffirming and confirming statement about the concept of transgenderism or gender identity, the way in which the left would have you see it. Well, that's considered violence. And so this was an interesting one. Here you've got someone in a mask that is chasing someone. They've got a knife and they're chasing what appears to be a female, a woman. And she yells, "Help! He's attacking me!" Then all of a sudden you see the attacker stop and go, "Ah!" And then onlookers are looking and they're standing by and they lean over her and they lean over the person and they say, "What's wrong?" And the person says, "She misgendered me. I'm a Z-Zim." And then the two onlookers are looking at the what appears to be a female very angrily as if she were violent against the person who was attacking her. Anyway, I found that kind of funny anyway, nonetheless.
I actually know a Zim Zam.
You know a Zim? Zim Zam?
He goes by, he uses the identity, whatever those are called, the gender names. He goes by Zim Zam, and his thing is, he says, "You can't flim flam the Zim Zam." He calls himself the Zim Zam.
Okay. Well, make good use of it. There you go. There you go. All right. This next one has a lot to do with all of the information that we've been seeing coming out regarding the Twitter data dumps, where they're sharing all the information about, in particular, about how the government, in particular the FBI, has been coordinating and colluding with social media, especially Twitter, to restrict our freedom of speech, to make sure that certain information did not get out there, whether it was about medical misinformation, whether it was about the Hunter Biden laptop, or just conservatism in general. As such, they revealed the existence of the FBI Tweet Task Force, keeping America safe from political tweets.
Gotcha. Listen, I actually had to look at the picture real well. I thought that that maybe it was just Mike Tyson had joined the FBI and he was on the Tweet Task Force. But no, he's not. It's the Tweet Task Force. Okay, got it.
It's the Tweet Task Force. They tweet. They tweet.
Tweety, tweet.
There you go. All right, in this last one, this has a bit of environmentalism as well as a promotion of the holiday spirit. Mike, why don't you go ahead and describe this one for the folks, because this is what the liberals want.
It's got a bunch of the windmills out there, and it looks like somewhere northern or snowy, and there's some nice pine. Snow-covered pines, and there's 3 windmills, and 2 are perfect, and 1 is all banged up, and it looks like Santa and the reindeers. They tried to fly through it, and they got all sliced up and chopped up. So the bonus is fresh reindeer meat if you want some. The downside, no more Christmas.
Yeah. Santa appears to have run into a windmill. Hey, at least they got them paramedics out there, though.
They do. They're out there pumping away on old Santa's chest.
It would have been nice if they got them some snow gear, though.
Oh, well, you know what? You don't want to be too accurate in your cartoons, right?
Right. Can't be too accurate. All righty, sir. Well, hey, before we call it a day, why don't you go ahead and give one last shout out to our sponsors?
Let's do it. Let's say hello to our good friends at hitmanindustries.net. Hitmanindustries.net. You can get yourself a rifle or pistol caliber barrel in rifle and pistol lengths. The California Republican Assembly helping fight the good fight out there. Make sure you check in with these folks over there in California. And of course, if you want some awesome field gear, some tactical gear, go see our friends at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Follow the links in the description of this program and make sure to tell them that the guys over at the Rundown sent you. And that's going to be it for this Monday Fun Day Gun Day. But we'll be back tomorrow on Taco Tuesday. We hope that you all have a good time. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Encourage your friends to do the same. We will see you tomorrow.